So to check the tool, you need to quickly drag or you can upload the X-ray. So I will select this. We'll let it analyze it. So the reports are out and it is telling that grade 0 means no issues at all, but we will ask live to the agent, क्या आप मुझे बता सकते हैं ये रिपोर्ट क्या कहना चाह रही है?
नमस्ते। आपके घुटने के एक्सरे से पता चलता है कि जोड़ों के बीच की जगह थोड़ी कम हो गई है, खासकर निचले हिस्से में। हड्डियों के सिरों पर थोड़ी हल्की सी बढ़त दिख रही है, जिन्हें ऑस्टियोफाइट्स कहते हैं। ये आमतौर पर उम्र के साथ होने वाले बदलावों में दिखते हैं। क्या आपको कोई दर्द या अकड़न महसूस हो रही है?
नहीं 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 हो रही है।
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं। अगर आपको कोई दर्द या परेशानी
So it will answer all your questions, and apart from that you will get all the summary here. Radiology report you will be getting, and you will be also be able to download it as a PDF. So this is a very initial format, but I think much can be done with this tool, and thank you to Gemini to let us make this tool with your help. It really solves the problem in the rural areas and give multilingual approach so that many people patients can use it and it becomes accessible to doctors in rural areas. Thank you.
Okay, so what if you could actually teach artificial intelligence to be empathetic? It sounds like science fiction, right? Well, today we're diving into a new prototype called KneeResolve, and it's a tool that's trying to do exactly that, blending cutting-edge AI with genuine human compassion to solve a huge healthcare problem in a totally new way. It all starts, as these things often do, with a problem. A really big one. One that affects millions and millions of people, but often goes completely unnoticed until the damage is already done. We're talking about a silent epidemic. So what is this epidemic? It's knee osteoarthritis. And in India, it has become a massive and frankly a growing health crisis, especially in the areas outside of the big major cities. To really get a sense of the scale here, you have to look at what's happening in India's smaller cities and more rural areas. I mean, there's a huge shortage of radiologists who can read x-rays. This means people often don't get a diagnosis until their condition is really severe, and the pain is just awful. Now you add language barriers to that, plus the high cost of getting a specialist's opinion, and you've got this perfect storm brewing that leaves expert care totally out of reach for millions. But what if you could change all that? What if you could take all the knowledge of a top specialist and put it directly into the hands of a local clinic, or maybe even the patient themselves? I mean, what if you could build an entire clinic right inside a web browser? Well, that is exactly what KneeResolve sets out to do. It's a pretty advanced AI prototype built using Google's Gemini. But here's the thing, it's not some complex machine, it's not even an app you have to download. It just works, right there in a browser, turning pretty much any computer with an internet connection into this powerful screening tool for knee osteoarthritis. So how does this thing actually work? There are two really big innovations that make it so powerful. And the first one is all about how the AI sees, how it understands a patient's condition. Yeah, this isn't just a simple program that looks at an X-ray and gives a thumbs up or thumbs down. It uses something called clinical multimodality, which, is a bit of a fancy term, but all it really means is that it thinks like a doctor. It pieces together information from different places to build a complete, holistic picture. And this is where it gets really, really cool. Let's break down how it does that. First, the AI doesn't just look at one X-ray. It analyzes multiple views at the same time, the front view and the side view, just like a human radiologist would. Then it goes deeper. It starts to detect key biomarkers, those little telltale signs of the disease. And finally, based on all that evidence, it assigns a really precise grade of severity. So what kind of biomarkers is it actually looking for? Well, it's trained to spot things like osteophytes. You might know them as tiny bone spurs, and also joint space narrowing, which is what happens when the cartilage starts to wear away. These are the classic physical signs that a doctor would be searching for. And all that analysis leads to this, a standardized clinical score called the Kellgren Lawrence grade, or KL grade for short. This is the absolute gold standard in the field for classifying how severe the arthritis is. It's a scale from grade 0, which means no signs at all the way up to a severe grade 4. It gives a clear, simple result that any doctor can look at and know exactly what to do next. Okay, so the AI can see like a doctor. That's incredible. But look, an accurate diagnosis is only half the battle, right? Being able to understand it is what really, really matters. And that brings us to the second huge innovation here, how the AI stops being just a tool and starts being a communicator. The whole goal here is what they call radical accessibility. It's about moving away from that cold, confusing medical report that's just filled with jargon nobody understands and creating something that feels a lot more like a warm, empathetic conversation. And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. The old way? It's a one-way street. You get a text report, and good luck trying to figure out what it means. But the new way with KneeResolve, it's a real-time interactive dialogue. It swaps out all that confusing medical jargon for clear explanations, and it even offers words of comfort. It empowers patients to ask questions and really understand what's going on in their own bodies. And here's maybe the most incredible part of this whole thing. It does all of this in more than 11 different languages. This right here is the key to making it truly accessible. The AI can have this entire conversation in Hindi, in Tamil, in Gujarati, and a whole bunch of other regional Indian languages. It completely shatters one of the biggest barriers to getting good care, making sure every single patient can hear their diagnosis in the language that they know best. So you've got this amazing technology, the multimodal analysis, the real-time conversation in any language, but it's all in service of a single, deeply human mission. The mission statement for this entire project is a simple Hindi phrase, Sabka Mangal Ho. And what that translates to is well-being for all. See, this isn't just about building technology for technology's sake. This is about building technology with a soul. The whole purpose is to democratize healthcare, to make sure that everyone, it doesn't matter where you live or what language you speak, has access to the tools they need for a healthier life. So when you boil it all down, what's the real impact here? Well, first, it bridges that massive gap between context medical data and the actual patient who needs to understand it. Second, it makes high-end diagnostics radically accessible to people who've never had it before. And maybe most importantly, it proves that AI doesn't have to be this cold, robotic thing. It can actually be designed from the ground up to be empathetic, to be comforting, and to be culturally aware. And that just leaves us with a really fascinating thought, doesn't it? Okay, so this technology is focused on knees, in India, for today. But it proves a much bigger concept, that empathy can be coded. So, if an AI can bring this level of understanding and comfort to healthcare, what's next? What other massive gaps could we start to bridge?